Alright kids, here we are out on the road again, and this time I've got a brand new ride. Got myself a truck now. Ain't it pretty?
Yeah.
Got ourselves a Dodge Dakota, and goddamn it, we're gonna use it. And you're probably wondering, why does he have a Dodge Dakota now? Well, it's time to make a confession. And this is also an explanation of why I haven't put out that many videos lately. Because I haven't had time because I totaled my car. Yeah, that happened. And no more than 5 minutes away from my house to boot. So on my way to work one morning, driving along like usual, minding my own business. It's a little bit foggy that morning, the road was a little wet. And I didn't notice a car in front of me. It was some people from out of state. I won't say who they are, what they were driving, or anything like that, just, to respect their privacy a little bit, because, let's face the facts, I hit him,
It was his fault.
Yeah, it was my fault, Long story short, I totaled both cars, and mine went in a ditch, and now it's sitting in my front yard with the front end folded up.
Yeah.
But now I got this. So yeah, that's what happened there, and that's why I haven't been making videos lately, because I've kind of been dealing with all that bullshit.
Oh.
But anywho, time to get on to the other reason we're out on the road tonight.
Yeah.
We're doing a paranormal investigation. Because, well, Kyle got a new place here recently, him and Natasha, and it's haunted. We're not 100% sure who or what's fucking with them, but we've got a pretty good idea. And we're not going to mention any names of who we suspect it is, but I will say we did a little research, and everything seems plausible, and it says burnt cabins this way, so I'm going this way.
Because, yeah.
We're bad out of gas. A little bit.
Yeah. About on the gas lights on.
But yeah. And the reason we're out here in the middle of no fucking where is we were trying to find the suspect's grave. Now, we weren't able to actually go there because, as it turns out, there's a house directly across from the cemetery, and there was a very suspicious looking character sitting on the porch, and I have a sneaking suspicion he may have had firearms, so we just elected to avoid that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on our way back to Kyle's place to continue our investigation, and since we went the wrong damn way,
We kind of fucked ourselves.
yeah, so we're making up for it by making a video out of this. So yeah. And while I'm on the subject of shit that's been going on with me lately, I've got a couple stories about my job. And this is a public service announcement, in a way.
Yeah.
Because I take my job very seriously. I work in the retail business. And there's people out there who are very dishonest.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to mention any names here, but I am going to talk about a situation. About a week ago, my one supervisor comes up to me and warns me of a customer who's known for passing off bogus coupons.
Yeah.
She'll get like little $1 like trial size items and shit, and then use a $5 coupon.
Yeah.
Here's the catch. Her coupons are forged.
Yeah.
Now, in my place of work there, we have self-checkouts, as I've mentioned before. And this is where I was stationed this particular day at this particular moment. Anywho, sure enough, here comes this lady. And I'm watching her on the little monitor just to see what's going on. And she rings up her stuff and it's all dirt cheap. Then come the coupons. $5, $5. I'm like, yeah, no, stop. I hit the assist button, which basically locks the register.
Yeah.
And I go over there and play the idiot card. And I'm like, well, I don't know what's wrong with it. Let me go get my supervisor. Well, to make a long story short, he cancels the order, takes care of her. And she goes wherever it is she went. A few days later, I'm called into the security office to answer some questions about this lady. I provide the information that I have, what register she went to, who took care of it, and what all I saw. And so, the security guy pulls up the camera footage. What do you know? Everything adds up. He's like, I've got pretty much all the evidence I need. You're free to go. Have a nice day. So yeah, that was a case of fraud that I had a hand in stopping. And if you're out there watching this video, all three of you, don't do that.
No.
You're not doing yourself any favors. It's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, you might be hard up for money. Maybe you get a thrill out of doing shit like that, but just don't do it.
Yeah.
You're only fucking yourself over. Because retail businesses are onto this stuff, and you will eventually get caught. Second situation that happened recently. Again, no names mentioned here. Because we're gonna play the innocent until proven guilty card here.
Yeah.
There is a frequent customer that comes into our store, and she likes to purchase diabetic cough syrup.
Mm-hmm.
You may be wondering, why does she like to purchase diabetic cough syrup? Well, she buys 3 bottles at a time, puts it in a tumbler, shakes it up, and chugs it. Because she gets high off of it.
Yeah.
And for those of you that have been living under a rock your entire life, yeah, that's a thing. And, you know, we don't do anything about it because technically we can't do anything about it because what she's doing is legal because she's paying for it and doing it on her own time in her own little world.
Yeah.
So we can't stop her from doing that. But here the other day, she comes to me, and I ring her up knowing full well who she is and what she does and why she does it.
Yeah.
I don't care, to be completely honest with you. And if the circumstances in this situation would have been any different, I'd have let her go scot-free. But since we're on the subject of fraud and other similar no-nos, she hands me a check. She said, "This is my mother's check. That's her driver's license number."
Uh-huh.
Red flag right there because, one, it doesn't have your name on it. Now, I don't know how other places of business do their policies, but I know where I work, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And I said to her, you can't do that because it's not yours, and even if my machine prompts me for ID, it has to be photo ID for verification. Otherwise, I can lose my job over this. She goes the fuck off, as any drug addict probably would.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, I'm about to lose my shit at this point because I keep telling this lady no. I mean, I was like a cunt hair away from just totally flipping the fuck out and calling this lady out on her bullshit and saying, "Listen here, you dumb cunt. I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do. You picked the wrong motherfucker to fuck with." But I didn't. I go and retrieve my supervisor. And I will try my hardest not to give any identifying details of this supervisor because this is still up in the air.
Yeah.
But I go and retrieve them and they come over. Turns out they know this lady. That's another red flag. And they approve of this transaction. Despite my urgings not to, they go forward with it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like that at all. So, after they walk away and the situation is resolved, so, as far as they know,
Yeah.
I get another supervisor to print me a second copy of the order, and usually we give people's checks back because we do electronic checking. I kept it. And I stapled them together, wrote a note on the back that what happened, and I stuck it in under the cash drawer so that way if anybody in our accounting department catches it, they know what happened and they know who's responsible.
Yeah.
So I go to this other supervisor that I called and I say, "I need to see a manager." He asked me why. And I explained the situation. He calls up the assistant manager. Next thing you know, I'm in the office spilling everything. I don't know what's come of this since this, because I haven't been back into work since this happened, because I have a weird-ass schedule. But I hope some justice is served here. Because if you work in any sort of business, you have to maintain some type of integrity.
Yeah.
You can't do stuff like that. You can't do people favors. You know, you can't make exceptions just because it's your old buddy that you went to school with or whatever it is like that, or
whatever the case may be, you can't fucking do it.
Whoever, why-ever, you shouldn't do that stuff. You know, because the bottom line, it's wrong. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, really. 24 miles from where we belong. But anywho, getting back on the story here, you know, it's wrong. You know, and you know, I understand the idea of making an exception in certain cases, like, you know, let's say it's an old lady and her driver's license expired the day before because she's got like borderline dementia and forgot. Okay, I could see making an exception for that. But when you're being an enabler, helping your addict friend pull off what is, in all seriousness, fraud, that doesn't fly.
You got your charger?
Yeah, it's in here. But yeah, it's fraud, and you shouldn't do that.
No.
So anyway, we're gonna take a little break right now and get the camera charged up and go find a gas station before we end up hiking. And we'll be back with you.
All right, see you guys here shortly.
And we're back. A little bit of a gap in between point A and point B, but we're back. And just to recap, in case you fell asleep during that last title card, last time we talked about a little bit of a paranormal investigation, a couple of scandals at my work, and I explained why we're in this truck. So I was thinking, since we're on the subject of paranormal investigation this time around, why don't we talk about some past encounters? And since I know you've had the most, you go ahead and start.
Yeah. Where do I start?
Anywhere you want. We got a whole road ahead of us.
Okay. Probably, I would have to say almost 8 years ago. Something told me that I should have just stayed home with my parents. But no, instead I went to my girlfriend's place, hung out with her for a while. Well, shit happened that night.
Ex-girlfriend.
Yes, ex-girlfriend, sorry.
Oh yeah, by the way, between the last segment and this one, we got Natasha now. Thought I'd point that out. Anyway, go on.
And anyway, shit happened, and I wanted to go to fuck home. So I did. My whole way home, I was followed by what I believe was the devil, or one of his, whatever the fuck you want to call him. That evening, I'm laying in bed, and I'm sitting there staring at it. No, I'm not going with you, because it kept on telling me, you're coming with me, you're coming with me, you're gonna burn in hell, you'll rot in hell. I kept on telling it, no, I'm not. I'm standing right here, and you sure the hell aren't fucking taking me from here. Because you're down there, you're wherever the fuck you are, and I'm here. So, a couple minutes go by. Right after I said that, a couple minutes went by, and then all of a sudden, I start feeling my bed move. Like, what in the fuck is going on here? 10 seconds later, there's my fucking bed off the fucking floor, probably about 6 to 12 inches. My dad hears me hollering, "Leave me alone, leave me alone. You don't fucking scare me. You're not taking me. Leave me the fuck alone or else." My dad busts open my door and says, "What in the fuck is going on here?" And he just stands there as my bed is being levitated off the ground. He says, "I command you to fucking leave now." Didn't work. So he tells me, he says, "Get out of bed, son, now." I couldn't. I could not move. The only thing I could do was move my hands and my feet. I could not literally pick myself up off the bed. Whatever was there with me, or whatever was there that night, had a hold of me somehow, or had me tied down by something. I have no idea what. But 10 seconds go by after my dad says that, and I hear a voice in my, or I hear this real deep, raspy voice saying, you leave him alone. And you leave him alone now, or you will have to deal with me. I told you, leave him alone, and leave him alone now. You're not taking my grandson. It was my grandfather. My grandfather did some fucked up shit in his lifetime. He was shot 3 times in the back.
No. Well, we're not going that way. It says road closed ahead.
No?
All right, detour. Didn't see that sign till it started turning.
So, you know, my grandfather was what you would call back then, he was born in 1922. What you would call back then, he was probably in his late teens, early 20s, was either mobster or a gangster.
Yeah, like the Bonnie and Clyde kind of gangster, not like what they call them these days.
Yes. That man strapped a 50 caliber machine gun to a 1938 Buick. Strapped it to the fucking roof, fired it, blew the car off the fucking road, and said, "Nope, fuck that idea. I can't kill anybody with this unless if it's strapped to a fucking tank or a truck."
Uh-huh.
They called him Machine Gun Rudy.
Yeah.
The man walked around with a trench coat on, with the machine gun underneath his trench coat. And anybody that pissed him off, all he would do is just pull it out and say, "You want to be the next one?" We don't know for sure whether if he did kill anybody. I know he shot people. I don't know if he killed anybody. But like I said, he was shot 3 times. The man has looked death in the face numerous times and lived to tell about it. And then later on in his life, he became, I wouldn't say he did a complete 180 and turned his life around and, you know, became a religious man, because the man was not religious at all. Not one bit. He didn't believe in God or the devil or nothing. Nothing at all. He basically forced whatever was after me away. And he remained in my presence that whole entire night. And my dad looks at me, my dad says, all right, this shit is over with, I'm going back to bed. My dad says to me the next morning, he says, who was that was in your room last night? I said, Dad, that was the devil. He said, no. Who the hell's voice was that? I said, Dad, you don't know who that was? I said, that was Papa. That was that was Rudy. I said, didn't you hear it say, leave my grandson alone? He said, the only thing I heard was, leave him alone, or else you will deal with me. He didn't hear the other part. My dad is also a non-religious person. He doesn't believe in God, nor the devil, or anything. Basically, he's an atheist. Now, back to my grandfather. Well, my grandfather was real young, 8 or 9 years old, he started smoking. And he smoked up until he was 70 years old. Basically, his doctor made him quit. And he smoked non-filtered cigarettes. He had emphysema, black lung, and chronic bronchitis. What's the other thing name?
COPD?
Yeah, and COPD all on top of it. His one lung, I said that he was shot in the back. The one lung that was one of his right lung was punctured with a bullet. Went straight through his lung and just got lodged inside of his lung. Well, they removed all the bullets. There was no exit wounds. They removed all the bullets. And later on in his lifetime, from him smoking and doing the type of work that he did, when he came to this country, because he was originally from Germany, he was born in Germany. From the different type of things that he did in his lifetime, his lung collapsed on him 3 times after he was shot. When he was 68 years old, his doctor found out that his right lung had shriveled up and died. Basically, it collapsed and it would no longer inflate again, and it basically just
gave up.
It just gave up, basically. And his left lung, only half of it was working. So he was only living for 8 years. Or no. Roughly 8.5, 9 years with only a half a lung. He was 74 whenever he had to be put on oxygen all the time, except to, go outside, or all the time he had to do, if he was having to do anything, he would have to be on oxygen. He had to be on it at night. 75 is whenever they told him that he was basically bedridden. And then once he turned, right after that is whenever they basically told him that his body was shutting down very slowly and his body was suffocating. When he passed away February 9th, 1999. He was 76 years old when he passed away. And to this day, I still get visited by him. And, you know, there are some people out there that are skeptics that don't believe in ghosts or spirits or whatever, but I'm going to tell you something right now. When a man that has not been here in almost, 13, 14 years?
About 15 by
About
now.
15 years? And you can still hear his voice inside your head telling, talking to you, telling you, hey, everything will be okay, and, or just, little petty things like that, or how you doing, grandson, or whatever. I'm 25 years old. I believe in spirits, I believe in ghosts. Because some of the shit that has happened to me has not been fucking pleasant. A few months after that encounter with what I believe was the devil, I was in a car accident. September 26, 2008. My grandfather basically saved my life.
And not to interrupt your story, but you said September 26th, right?
Yes.
Mine was September 25th.
Christ!
Yeah, you want to talk about fucked up?
20s. I think mine was the 25th. Now that you mentioned
And
it.
I want to point out another coincidence. Right after you got rid of your truck
Yeah.
and you got the Sunfire,
Yeah.
I got rid of my truck and got a Sunfire.
Yeah.
After you got rid of your Sunfire, you got a Dodge.
Yeah.
Now that mine's out of commission, I've got a Dodge.
That's just fucked up.
That's really fucked up.
I swear to God. We should have been fucking twins.
Yeah, and while I'm on it, anybody out there, if anybody watches this,
Yeah.
and you're skeptical of anything that he said thus far, I want to say that I believe everything he's saying 100% for two main reasons. Shortly after his grandmother passed away, or no, it was right before actually,
Yes.
as I was leaving, because there was a little get together with all their family and a few close friends, and I was there. And on the way home, I hear this voice that I never heard before in my life, and all it said was "Thanks, Nate," and it was real deep and real raspy, and I just knew who it was.
Yeah.
I want to keep in mind that, Rudy died in 1999. I did not meet Kyle until like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I never actually got to meet this guy. But I knew who it was. And I asked Kyle not long after that, I just said, curiosity, did Rudy have like a real deep, like gritty voice? And he's like, yeah. And I told him about it.
Yeah.
After his grandmother passed away, I was in bed. And I'm not a religious person either. I don't really, believe in all that stuff, but I do believe in the paranormal.
Yeah.
Some sort of demonic entity had a hold of me. And his grandparents came to me and made it go away.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Nate has seen pictures of my grandfather. He's even watched videos of my grandfather. He knows what my grandfather looks like.
Yeah. Never met the man, but I know what he looks like. And I know that both of those times, that was him. I mean, we recorded a video here a while back. As if we're making this one, I haven't put it up yet because we're not done with it yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm just going to let it talk for itself. I'm going to splice some of the footage in right now and let it explain itself. Because up until what you're about to see, this never happened. The whole way from when we left the house to here, we could feel a presence. Mostly relatives of ours. One of them was my grandpap. The first time in the 25 years that he's been dead has that ever happened. So yeah, what you just saw, pretty fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, kind of got off the track of what you were saying there, so if you got anything else to say, you go right ahead.
I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on for fucking hours on end on shit that has happened to me in my 25 years of existence. But there's a few more that I want to point out. Like I said, my grandfather, whenever I had my car accident, my grandfather, I felt his presence in the vehicle. I felt hands go over top of mine and turn me away from the vehicle that was coming at me. I got hit in the right front. I was in a 98 Chevy Tracker. The person that hit me was in a 96 Lincoln Continental. What the fuck do you think happened to that Tracker? Folded up like a fucking accordion. I should not be here right now. But thanks to my grandfather, he saved my life. You may think that's fucking bullshit, but no, I don't.